Hello from Jihad and the World, a podcast that explores the connection between Western and Islamic cultures. The author is Mark Silinsky of Kensington Security Consulting, where we bring education to national security. Today, we begin the fifth in a series of podcasts focused on the terrorist killing in San Bernardino, in which a husband and wife pair of Islamists murdered health inspectors in 2015. The podcast series is called The Killing Floor, The Shooting Gallery. We pledge allegiance to Khalifa Abu Bakr, al-Baghdadi al-Quraishi. Standard pledge to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi of the Islamic State. In 2011 and 2012, two young residents of San Bernardino planned to kill their neighbors. Longtime friends Sayeed Farook and Enrique Marquez shared many interests common to American teenage boys, such as fixing cars, sports, and girls. But they also confided in each other about their desire to strike out at America, which they came to loathe. The lanky and shy Marquez felt emotionally empty and turned to Islam to fill a spiritual void. At age 16 in 2007, he became a Muslim and was soon radicalized. He directed his anger towards enemies of his newly embraced religion. With Farook, he watched morbid footage of al-Qaeda's killings. Both drew inspiration from the sermons of the firebrand cleric Anwar al-Awlaki and the al-Qaeda magazine Inspire. The new convert to Islam spent hours in Farook's home, listening to Awlaki's lectures and reading Inspire magazine, the al-Qaeda publication. Other American terrorists were inspired by Awlaki. Anwar al-Awlaki, the American-born imam who had joined al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, often pontificated about the global evil of Western imperialism or the everyday aspects of a proper Islamic lifestyle. Awlaki's tone was measured, and his sermons were clear. He connected with many Americans because his English was unaccented. The charismatic preacher spoke in metaphors about life being a preparation for eternity. This world is but a station. It is the hereafter that matters. We are traveling. We need to prepare for death. Awlaki called for jihadists in the West to attack soft targets, particularly in the United States. Many Westerners drew inspiration from him, including the London tube and bus bombers of 2005 and Major Nidal Malik Hassan, the Army psychiatrist who killed 13 and wounded dozens at Fort Hood, Texas, in 2009. Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, the airline underwear bomber. Faisal Shahzad, the Times Square van bomber. And the Tsarnaev brothers, who carried out the Boston Marathon bombing, were all followers of the Sheikh. An American drone strike killed Awlaki in Yemen in 2011, but his message continues to spread on the Internet. His martyrdom status is secure, and his sermons will likely be circulated for years. Inspire, like much of the Islamic State's propaganda, is directed at disaffected youth. Across a double-page photograph of a brooding young man in a dark room is a caption in verse. That issue included an article called Car Bombs Inside America, which had detailed instructions for building such a device at home. The objective was maximum carnage in order to strike terror into the hearts of the enemies of Allah. Marquez breezily shared his opinions on religion and politics at the local bar where he worked. The tavern has a nautical theme, and its Facebook ads invite locals with pirate slang. Arr! Ahoy, me mateys! If you haven't stopped in lately, come on in. Marquez cleaned the bar and checked IDs at the door. After a few drinks, he fell into self-pity, lamenting his obesity and lack of career direction. The bar's owner described him as goofy. When drunk, he confided in regulars that he knew of Muslim sleeper cells in town ready to launch attacks. He hinted at an upcoming major assault, but patrons dismissed his words as bravado. One patron said, "We took it as a joke. When you look at the kid and talk to him, No one would take him seriously about that. They would be proven wrong. It would be a very serious attack. In August 2011, Farook confided in Marquez about his interest in joining al-Qaeda in Yemen. Soon after, they scouted local targets to attack, such as Riverside City College and the 91 freeway, using guns and explosives. Marquez purchased the 2 assault rifles that were used in the San Bernardino massacre. Farook and Marquez discussed attacking Riverside Community College's main library or a cafeteria. They both knew the campus layout because they had taken courses there. Perhaps they would lob pipe bombs into rooms and randomly spray fire. Alternatively, they could toss explosives from an overpass onto cars traveling on Route 91. After disabling several cars, the 2 would spring from the overpass and aim rounds at stunned motorists. They would then shoot first responders. Police were priority targets. Nothing came of these plots. But the basic plan of trapping and killing a large group of San Bernardino residents framed the December 2015 attack. Marquez was not meant to be the trigger man, but he would supply his friends with deadly weapons. This wave of murder would be a husband and wife operation, and it would happen at the annual Christmas party amid candy canes, eggnog, and photos with Santa Claus. A few of Farook's close associates understood how deep his hatred for America, the West, and especially Israel ran. However, his co-workers had no clue that he was considering killing them. Nothing in his behavior suggested pent-up anger or any plans to commit murder. Colleagues described him as reserved. Griselda Reisinger said, "He was very quiet, I would say hi and bye, but we never engaged him in conversation. He didn't say much at all. Neither his neighbors nor his wife suspected that he or they would cause harm to anyone." According to their accounts, co-religionists at his mosque were shocked by his homicidal rage. Those who prayed with him were stunned by his killing. Both he and his wife were quiet individuals. Nizam Ali, a student who got to know Farook after he started attending the San Bernardino Mosque, remembered Farook saying his wife was fully veiled, which pleased him. Planning, varmint rifles, and pipe bombs. A small-caliber rifle, usually 5.56 mm caliber, is used to hunt small game. Varmint rifle definition. The husband and wife carefully planned their attack in advance. There is no recorded moment when the couple decided to commit mass murder. While Farook was distant from Malik, they texted each other about martyrdom operations. As the annual office party approached, the husband and wife prepared to act, and their plan was thoroughly organized. Marquez legally purchased the weapons he needed. Farook selected rifles chambered for the 5.56 caliber to kill his co-workers. He obtained one for himself and one for his wife. The 5.56 round can pierce the standard protective vest worn by police officers. He chose variants of the AR-15, a highly controversial weapon. AR-15-style rifles were used in the mass shootings in Aurora, Colorado, and in Newtown, Connecticut. The twin rampages sparked a surge in sales of military-style weapons and calls for bans. Gun control advocates refer to these weapons as assault rifles, while others dispute the term. Regardless of what they are called, few doubt the devastating effects that the .223 or 5.56 mm round has on the human body. Much of the round's lethal power results from its tumbling effect inside a human body. When the bullet enters a target's torso, it tumbles in different directions, puncturing and ripping apart vital organs. This causes massive internal damage. The 5.56 remains the round of choice for Western militaries. The rifles the husband and wife would carry at the Christmas party were the DPMS Panther Arms of 15 and a Smith & Wesson M and P15. Malik used the Panther, which weapons experts praise. The National Rifle Association bestowed it with the honor of Gun of the Week in 2013. It is a tactical precision weapon that fires a 5.56 NATO round and has a 30-round magazine capacity. In 2021, it retailed for $1,350 at many stores. Some American veterans chat nostalgically about this rifle, which reminds them of their combat experience in the Middle East. Other shooters are less complimentary, describing it as an adequate entry-level tactical weapon. Farook's weapon, the Smith & Wesson, also had a capacity for 30 rounds of 5.56 millimeter ammunition. This is the same round as the Panther. It is marketed as an easy-to-use varmint killer and target rifle that can be customized for many purposes. Farook tried but failed to modify it to fire in full auto mode to kill his co-workers more efficiently. He proved to be an inept riflesmith. Thank you for listening to this episode of Jihad and the World. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you have first-hand information on this attack, please contact us. Our latest book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, will be available for purchase in July 2026. This podcast does not reflect the official position of the United States government. Until next time, goodbye from Kensington Security Consulting.